my name's Kat, and today I wanted to do a discussion type video about the importance of the reading experience as a factor in overall book enjoyment. We all know that content plays a big role in how much you enjoy a book. Do you like the characters, the writing, the story itself? Did you connect to it? Did it make you laugh or cry or evoke some other emotional response? But how important is the actual experience of reading? The mood you're in when you pick up the book, or how distracted you are by other things going on in your life at the time you're trying to read a book. How physically comfortable or uncomfortable your reading position is. Or maybe you're so busy you can only spare like 15 minutes a day to read, and the book just feels like it's dragging and taking you forever to get through. How much do things like this affect your overall enjoyment of a book? Like, personally, I am very much a mood reader, and if I'm not quite in the mood for a certain book, then I'm gonna have trouble enjoying it, even if it's a great book. Like, quality aside, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not gonna like it as much as I might if I read it at a different point in time. When I first read Angel Fall by Susan E., it was during the week of VidCon 2013, and I was very distracted by what was happening in the real world at that time, and I was reading this book in bits and pieces, and when I finished it, I didn't love it, I didn't dislike it, I thought it was okay, it was fine. But then, when I read book 2, I was able to fully get into it and like give it all of my attention, and I ended up enjoying that one so much more. And I don't think there was a huge difference in content between book 1 and book 2 in the same series. Like, same tone, same world, same characters, but book 2, I had such a better reading experience, I feel like I liked that book a lot more. I sometimes wonder how much of my love for Harry Potter is tied to the positive reading experiences of essentially growing up with Harry. If I were to pick up those books right now for the very first time as an adult, would they still have that same magic for me? The content is the same, like, it's still a great story, in my opinion, regardless of the actual reading experience, but how large of a role does that actual reading experience play? Recently, as in this month, I read 2 books, and I did enjoy both of them, but it was the different reading experiences that really stood out to me and kind of inspired this discussion topic. The first was More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, which I read on the plane ride home from New York. And I flew through this book. Like, the content was good, but what stands out the most to me about the reading experience was how uncomfortable I was crammed into that airplane seat. I was liking what I was reading, but I was fidgety and uncomfortable, and I kept checking the time, just like I wanted out. I wanted to be free from that airplane. Great book, not the greatest of reading experiences. The other reading experience that I had recently that really stands out was for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I read this book with Ben, and we took this a step beyond the typical buddy read, where like you each read a couple chapters and then you talk about it and then rinse and repeat. Instead, we read this book actually together, like taking turns reading out loud, and we got through it in 2 sittings. 2 long sittings. And then we immediately started the sequel. So like, not only was the book really good, but I now also have these positive memories of the reading experience tied to the book, and I think I enjoyed it even more because of that. One thing that I love about Booksplosion is that every month I know there are people reading along with me, and that I'm gonna get to discuss it in depth with some of my friends at the end of that month. and I think that really contributes to my overall enjoyment of the Booksplosion books. Even if they're not books that I especially love, they still stand out in my mind because of those positive read-along experiences tied to them. I remember reading these Booksplosion books more clearly. Like, I could tell you exactly what the June book of the month was for last year, but I probably couldn't tell you what else I read that month unless I looked it up on Goodreads. So yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about lately, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. How important is the reading experience to you personally? Have you ever given a book a second chance and had a wildly different reaction to it? How much does your physical comfort or state of mind affect your enjoyment of a book? Please feel free to leave a comment and discuss this with me. I think it is a fascinating topic, and I would love to hear more thoughts on it. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this video today, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! And I flew through this book. No pun intended, but I'm gonna leave that in. I read this book with someone who is texting me. So, like, not only was there a plane,